But the thing about science that you realise, and it's only with the benefit of hindsight, I'm really sorry about this, is that the more you find out, the more disparate facts start to fit together. The more things that don't seem to be connected start to have a deep underlying connection. And you realise that although life on Earth looks incredibly complicated, we have all sorts of different life, we have rocks, we have water, we have all sorts of different structures. If you understand what they're made of at the very deepest level, if you understand the laws that govern their behaviour, then in fact there's not very much to understand at all. Now, the reason that it all frequently seems incredibly complicated is that to get to that point involves some quite sophisticated and difficult mathematics, and because that's the language that we base our science in, often that's the language that obscures the true and quite simple meaning.
That's true, I completely agree, because there is some kind of pattern in the life which everybody undergoes. So if you understand that, it's very simple. Actually, we as a human, we make it more complex. But the laws are very, very simple. God, if I completely believe in God, that energy, that supreme energy, and I feel it's very simple. It has never made life so complex as we make it.
Now, Minal, I want to go back to when you were at school. Among your schoolmates and girlfriends, was there a similar interest in science?
When I was in school, I found that mostly the girls are interested in becoming maybe a doctor.
Why is that, Minal?
The factor what they are primarily considering is kind of getting the money. It's kind of making a money-motivated jobs. They wanted to go to like some kind of bank jobs. Maybe for a girl, they wanted a safe 9 to 5:30 jobs, maybe.
Tara, what about in the UK? There are a lot of also into science.
Well, in the UK, actually, girls are completely in the minority when it comes to science. And Milan, it's fascinating hearing you say the reasons why it's similar in India. In the UK, nobody knows what the underlying reasons are. When girls are about 14, they can make choices as to what to study. And by that stage, only 20% of people studying physics happen to be female. And this very small percentage is the same when I was studying at school. It just hasn't moved on. And it's not because in the UK people are rushing to become engineers or doctors or things that they perceive as being paid better. In the UK, we have a real disconnect, I think. People don't appreciate what physics is about, what science is really about. They don't see the point in it, and this is what's stopping them being interested in taking it up. So, Minal, I have a question for you. You said that not so many girls in India take up the subject. Do you remember when you were at school, roughly what percentage of girls there were?
Yeah, they were like 1:5. That means in 5 boys, we had 1 girl. Look at the ratio, how unjust it is. But now if you see, the things have changed. So more and more girls are going into a science stream, becoming engineer or a doctor, more number. That is now mostly has come from 1:5 to 1:3 kind of number. But still it is 15 to 20% only of the total male ratio if you see. And the other thing is now in the rural areas, still that boost has not yet come. Like initially in the rural areas, they were not allowing at all for the girl to study. But now the stage has come where they are allowing the girls to study, but maybe up to certain grade, like up to 12th grade or maybe up to graduation. But they are not allowing it further, maybe whatever because of the monetary reasons. But still I feel that maybe in another 10-15 years, now the generation has come, so definitely it will be a number, that ratio is going to be almost, going to be nearly 50%, I feel.
That makes you really unusual. So what made you carry on studying science despite this disparity? Did you have a role model at the time, or is it just your interest that drove you?
I got it from my parents that never to give up. They were always motivating me. Though I was a girl, I was always treated like a boy because none of the job was restricted, that if you're not good this, maybe I'm the lucky one in that sense because everybody here will go to get that kind of family. And how do you find it in the UK? How do you find it in the world education gets the opportunity along with the city?
So Minal, you asked me the girls and boys the same opportunity as girls in the city.
So in the UK we find that because so many people are connected to the web and there's no longer so much difference between people in rural areas and people in cities, What might change is the quality of the schools they're able to attend, or the quality of the teachers, more like, in the school. And in fact, the main difference between the subject and not for example, a same-sex school, so a women-only school, or a mixed school, they tend to do better in women-only schools. For some reason, when it gets to mixed schools, there's some peer pressure that comes in that makes physics an uncool subject, or engineering an uncool subject, which is quite detrimental.
I want to come to where you are now in your careers. I mean, now, you both were straight from university and you went to work for the Indian Space Research Organisation. You stayed there for you studied in London and US, and you're now based at Liverpool University. You've both been involved in very important projects, including the Large Hadron Collider, and we'll talk about that in a bit, and now the Indian mission to Mars. Could you explain what your role has been in the mission to Mars? On a day-to-day level,
I'm a configuration engineer. My basic role is that I have various subsystems and characterize, calibrate, and test it till the launch, and even after the launch. So I have to ensure that none of the systems go wrong at any time and they give the desired results.
so what happens when you fix it?
It's like, okay, sometime I don't have to fix it because mechanical engineer is I do that, or I'll end up even checking on the computer the data which is coming. So it is everything end to end. Like along with my mechanical engineer, I will fix it, design the location. But internal to that subsystems also, I have to monitor the signals, and then in the output, like if you see some kind of data, whether it is useful or not. So it's end to end.
So what sort of hours are you working now?
Oh, that's for Mars. I would say that I had non-stop work 18 hours, and along with that, when our thermovac, that means when the system is inside a chamber where there's a vacuum, continuous 36 hours without sleep also we have done.
That is a tough job.
Yeah, and after 36 hours, if you come in front of me, my brain is totally down. Like, there's no capability for me to analyze anything. Like, after that, so much
Okay, anyone could analyze anything after 36 hours. Yes. Now, Tara, I want to come to you because you're one of several thousand particle physicists working on the Large Hadron Collider. Now, I want to delve into the role that you're playing with it, but let's talk about the project itself. It's been described as the largest scientific experiment ever conceived. What is it?
So the Large Hadron Collider is essentially a big atom smasher. It's our facility in particle physics for studying the very ingredients of matter. So we think that everything in the universe, all the stuff around us, the stuff that makes us, the stuff that makes up stars, is when you take the same basic building blocks. And in particle physics, we try and identify what those smallest ingredients are and how they sequence. And that tells us how the universe behaves at these very tiny scales, and that lets us work out what the universe should be doing at the larger scales that we're more familiar with. Now, what the Large Hadron Collider does for us is it generates samples of this type of matter for us to study. And our experiments can take snapshots of these ingredients, these fundamental particles, millions of them, trillions of them, and then data analysts like me spend our time analyzing this data, trying to identify the fundamental particles that were produced, looking to see if they behave like our theory suggests, really hoping that they're not, and we're going to make a discovery and we're going to see something momentous about the universe at these tiny scales. Most of the time that doesn't happen, I have to say, but it's the hope that always keeps us going.
What's been discovered so far?
In 2012, two of the experiments at the Large Hadron Collider announced the discovery of something called the Higgs boson. Now, the Higgs particle is insignificantly tiny, but incredibly important to the universe because essentially why the universe is the way it is. We hadn't seen it before, the Large Hadron Collider. It was predicted in the 1960s. And if our understanding of particle physics was correct, this particle had to exist. We had to find it.
I heard that Higgs boson was one, but then I heard subsequently God's particle. So what's the difference between these two?
Oh, goodness me. It's
Because that's the word which is got a lot of inquisitiveness from the ancients. Or that's what they found out God.
and you it's because there is a Nobel Prize for the Higgs boson, and call it the Rodin Battle. But this was in America. Persuaded him that perhaps the God particle might sell more copies, and so in the interest of money, he agreed to it. And all this progress ever since.
When it was discovered, Tara, where were you? I'm just wondering how it was celebrated within the science world when this discovery was made.
It was the biggest thing I can remember in my career. I remember waking up really early that morning of that seminar, and by really early, I'm talking about 4 in the morning. Maybe me now, this is nothing to do with your 18 hours sleep, but I was living in Geneva. I got the first tram to CERN that arrived at 5 in the morning, along with what must have been every other particle physicist in the whole city of Geneva. The tram drew into a stop at CERN, doors opened, hundreds of physicists poured out the doors and started running towards the main auditorium where this seminar was going to be held. Even though the doors weren't going to open until 9 in the morning, everybody just wanted to stand in the queue for hours and get in there. We ran into the building and we saw that there was already a queue coming out of the door, and physicists, because there were far more people in the queue than there were to. And what had happened was that people had just camped there overnight. They were standing there with their pillows because they were so desperate to get in. So, yes, I was at CERN for the announcement, not in the main auditorium itself, but in an open and it was the most amazing day. Finally, in this remote room, hearing what was announced was silence. And then spontaneously, about 30 seconds afterwards, everybody started walking into applause and cheering. And you really had this feeling when we were watching it that history was being made in front of you. And in a way, it was like the bottom had dropped out of your understanding, because suddenly you had this extra piece in this very simple jigsaw that you had to just put it in place and make sure it was correct, and adjust the rest of your understanding to make it all make sense.
A reminder that you're listening to the I'm Kim Chakra. And my guests today are Dr. Tara Shear, who's a particle physicist, otherwise known as SAGE. Tara joined us from Liverpool in the north of England, and Minal Rohit is a systems engineer or space scientist working on India's current mission to Mars. Minal is speaking to us on a satellite connection from the home of Ahmedabad. Tara talks about the physics community, and the team at CERN discovered the Higgs boson, a subatomic particle thought to be a fundamental building block of the universe. Minal can relate to this kind of celebration. She was at mission control in Bangalore when India launched its first unmanned mission to Mars last year. It was tense as they watched the radio signals coming from the spacecraft, tracking its progress towards the moon. Here's Minal.
I could feel that feel, because once you are in that room, you literally get like your numbness in your hands and those chills, and then you feel that okay, everything should go well. I was like keeping my fingers crossed, and then when they separated like at the correct place and it was injected in the orbit, then we took okay, now this first step is over. So almost our mission was 60% success, and it was injected.
Describe to me.
We used to keep looking at the telemetry data, and then we keep looking at each other, because the telemetry comes with little like delay if it goes offline for a few seconds, so we'll not know whether it's come back or not. So we keep checking everybody's face and then keep looking at these consoles, come back, and sometimes it happens you would have not got, but the person other side got it. Okay, it was really fun, and for me this was like first launch which I could witness in my lifetime, live there, like what I watched on TV when I was a kid, and the same feeling, I think more than that launch was when this MOI recently.
So
increasing. Now it should reduce. That lamp has fire, now it should reduce, and we're praying, please reduce. And then it reduced. That lamp, when it happened, actually tears rolled out of my eyes, and that too, and our PM, Mr. Narendra Modi, and he gave such a motivational speech that I could not stop my tears coming out, and it was so horrible that the cameraman also zoomed it.
So the Prime Minister of India and everyone, and this is
Yeah.
everyone was very, very pleased. And another thing that I saw was this photo. I think it's quite a famous photo, and how they titled it "Scientists and Saris," and I'm not even sure if they are scientists. But have you seen that photo?
Yeah, I have seen that photo. They are all the latest walking gadgets right around stations. Some of them are from science, some are from admin staff. But even in fact, I saw one security personnel crying like.
And I can understand that, because this wasn't a small achievement at all.
Yes.
I mean, this was very much India really
has been slain.
because this was their first
An
attempt.
enemy has been
And
slain.
this was the first
On a
time
tight
that,
budget.
yeah.
Now, Tara, I want to put this question to you, because sometimes questions arise about the amount of money poured into scientific experiments. And if we look at the Large Hadron Collider, an estimated $10 billion, thousands of scientists working on it. When people say that, that money could be used for other things, what do you say to that?
Well, of course, if you have a certain pot of money, you can use it for whatever you want, whatever you think is important. But for me, investing that money in CERN is an investment. And it is a lot of money, but then it's also important to remember there's only one the entire world takes part in those experiments situated there. I think physicists are associated That means that if you're a national of a member state of CERN, then yes, you're paying for this endeavour, but you're paying something like £1 to £2 per person to keep it going, which isn't bad. Not only do you get the intellectual enrichment, the extra knowledge, you also get the benefits of all the spin-offs. So, developed in the 1990s for physicists to share their information with each other, but because CERN is designed that we give our results in free, the web was then given away so that we could develop it into the state it is now, as far more useful to people. And the machinery that we develop for our accelerators and our experiments finds a lot of use now in medical technology.
I completely agree. Because so many things to develop to achieve that final result is fantastic. Because that 10 billion may be distributed around 10 countries, something doesn't matter. But the thing is, the output is like so many technologies to develop because of that. And
There was euphoria over the large machine, but there was also criticism of people saying that
yes.
there's a section of the Indian population that was opted. Should you be having this interplanetary mission? What do you say to that?
It's like same, like whatever 450 million crores or whatever the numbers they are projecting, it's
About $74 million.
Yeah, 450 crores of rupees, whatever the budget allotted to the Ministry of Scientific Development. I think that is, it's definitely not in a very big, it's only 0.01% of the total budget. And they're also developing again like your capabilities of doing interplanetary missions and the kind of equipments what you're going to develop during the stage. So I think it should be an overall bigger picture. They should see that. And so many young minds have been inspired by this launch.
Now, we spoke about this earlier, about women being underrepresented in science. And I would like to know, just to end, what can be done. I was reading an article in a local paper, in a local UK paper, and Tara, you may have come across this, about various efforts to recruit students, included doing a prospectus in pink and highlighting the science and lipstick. And I thought, well, surely any evidence is better than none. What is your take on that?
Oh, I hate this. Minal, you're probably cringing at this very idea. It's something that we call the very the way it's presented in all but it often ends up being patronising. And What's important for me is that just people realise how very interesting science is. People should realise what science is. I find it extremely unhelpful when you single out a sector of students and you deal with them in a different way. You approach science in a different way. It's unhelpful to them, it's unhelpful to everybody else that you haven't included. So it's an example of an approach to try and get more women in that just hasn't worked at all for us in the UK.
Now, what about in India? What do you think should be done?
I think we have from the rural areas. We do a lot of exhibitions to the school children, and we try to get them towards the science stream by putting all this our effort, and we exhibit in their schools. So and we encourage more and more. It's not that we encourage our own girls, but total overall in the school we conduct competitions so that they participate, they are aware, to get at least inclined toward the space science. But still this is done in a very small scale. We still have to move on with this.
Meelal, you must also find that the Mars mission must have increased interest in science in India 1,000-fold. Have you noticed?
Yes, that's whatever the case, the things that you see. Initially when I used to read, okay, 1 or 2 comments, that's all. But now there are thousands of attention getting more, and the first thing is a lot of comments and young minds.
It's a really good way to share science, I think. We can do similar things with CERN as well. It seems to be
systems engineer with the Indian Space Research Organisation, and Dr. Tarashevsky is a particle physicist for the European Organisation for Nuclear Research. Thank you both so much for joining me in the conversation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You've been listening to The Conversation with me, Kim Chakaneta, from the BBC World Service. Head to our website to see a photo of Dr. Tara Shears and Meelal Rowan at bbcworldservice.com/conversation. While you're there, you can also listen to previous judges, explorers, fashion person, and drama. And you can connect to our podcast page from there to subscribe to the download so you never have to miss an edition. Next week, 2 women activists discuss fighting for their rights, one in apartheid South Africa and the other as a Black Panther in America. See you then.
The BBC World Service.
The White Actor seeks out the extraordinary in everyday life.
On the programme this week, aging. This week, memory.
This week, coincidences.
Burial. Debt. Fear. Retirement. The time. Science.
So for more intriguing facts about the way we live, go to bbcworldservice.com/The White Actor.
In an hour on World Have Your Say, is it fair to criticise America over the failed hostage rescue attempt? The US and UK refused to pay ransoms, but South African hostage Pierre Corky was due to be released after it was thought a ransom was paid. He died in a failed operation in Yemen. I'm Chloe Taylor.
This is the BBC World Service, the world's radio station.
South African carried out the case against a British businessman accused of ordering hitmen to kill the family
My brother, my parents, for the rest of our life.
The largest sign will be for sale. These have gone bigger than 1 million people to over 12 million inside the country, and more than 3 million people who have fled as refugees. The taxi booking service Uber is banned in Delhi after a young woman was allegedly raped by one of its drivers. And the debate on how to tackle hunger here in Britain.
Are not the only way. I'm just struggling now.
That's all here on the newsroom from the BBC.
BBC News with James.
After 4 years under a cloud of suspicion, Shamim Dawani was finally released. The evidence against him was so weak, said the judge, that there was no realistic chance of conviction, and Mr. Dawani was free to go home. The case against him had rested on the testimony of 2 men already in prison for Annie Dawani's murder, which contained so many inconsistencies that the judge said it was impossible to tell where the lies ended and the truth began. The case against him has been thrown out before he was ever called to give evidence. He is now expected to take a flight back to the UK as a free man tomorrow.
The United Nations has made the biggest history. Agencies say they're having to cut operations because the UN's appeal for Article 14 has not yet been fully met. Here's Imogen Ferris.
It is the biggest annual appeal the United Nations has ever made. $16.4 billion for life-saving aid operations for almost 60 million people. The single biggest sum is for Syria, a total of $7.2 billion to help those affected by the conflict inside the country. Afghanistan, Iraq, South Africa, and South.
Authorities in the Indian capital Delhi have banned the international taxi booking service program days after a passenger was allegedly raped by one of its drivers. The woman used the mobile application to take a taxi home from a restaurant. She said that she was driven to a secluded spot and raped. The human rights campaigner Malika Dutt said the ban failed to address the issue of ensuring women's safety.